We have credit cards. In all the books I've read, they say, do it on credit cards. If you can't.
What I'm more concerned about for you guys is you biting off a lot.
They came to Los Angeles to chase their dreams. They're barely 30, and they're in love.
We're opposite, you know, ends of the same coin.
He's a force to be reckoned with, and that's what I love about him.
He's from Utah, and I'm from Bakersfield. He grew up Mormon, I grew up Muslim.
Like, he's got all the qualities that I wish I could possess.
He's a baby at times, and I guess I'm overbearing and bossy at times.
Larkin and Josh have been together for 6 years now, and every morning is pretty much the same.
Morning, baby.
Josh practically has to push Larkin out of bed. But now there's some urgency to get out the door, because in just 2 months, they want to turn this former crack house in their neighborhood into a place called Larkins.
Larkins is a contemporary soul food restaurant.
It's kind of an evolution of soul food.
I would say it's food for the soul. Get out the kitchen.
No.
Yeah, out the kitchen.
No, I want to help.
Larkin has only recently made food his focus. He came to LA a few years ago to work in film, but drifted into an office job to get by.
So hungry.
So, I mean, I was in a place where I probably shouldn't have been before, you know, and everything was at stake. I was so depressed about my life and the direction that it was going.
One day, he saw a sign for a cooking school and decided to take the plunge.
And then my little epiphany happened, and I was like, I need to make this happen now.
Josh was 100% behind him. He'd come to LA to dance and to act, but now cuts hair at his own salon to support himself and Larkin. They'd get by on love.
Combining my energy with his energy and just making it happen.
Since Larkin grew up Muslim, his soul food is low on ham and pork fat.
Being African American, you just, you know, there's that whole history. You know, it was all about cooking and, you know, church and singing.
Today, he's making fried chicken, but his feature dish is collard greens simmered with peppers and onions and seasonings.
All of his recipes are really different. There's a lot of Mexican influence in his cooking, a lot of Mexican spices.
Larkin thinks that he's finally doing what he was always meant to do.
Ever since I was little at my grandparents' house, like playing restaurant, you know, it was like something that I always did. Cheers! Cheers! To Larkins.
To Larkins! Even one of the chefs at his school said, you know, like, if anybody out of this program can open a restaurant, it's you.
But nobody thought Larkin would choose this transitional neighborhood and a former crack house to do it. The place needs a lot of work. After all, it was a crack house. But the boys have a vision.
I'm shooting for something Harlem Renaissance-y.
Down home, mama's house.
The color purple, you know, juke joint.
Funky chairs that don't match each other.
They haven't even done a budget, mostly because they don't have any money, besides what they were keeping under the mattress.
That's our budget.
Still waiting for a few more loans to come in.
Unfortunately, I have a bankruptcy on my credit that is like 4 months till it's off my credit, conveniently. So people like to say no.
They have to be open in 2 months because that's when they start paying rent. Today, it seems their prayers have been answered.
You got another call?
We'll see.
With a denial of what?
That wasn't a denial.
Of what? What's the possibility?
Maybe a loan.
Of how much?
A lot of money.
Like how much?
A lot of money, more than we need.
Tell me.
More than we need.
200,000? Do I hear 200? No.
No,
150?
A lot more than that.
500,000?
A little bit more.
$1 million! I love right now actually seeing that he has found his passion and he's like creating this whole reality for himself. I'm like, I'm fucking going shopping. I don't know about what you guys are gonna do. And I am now working another day until this place is open.
Yeah, see?
I almost feel like I've fallen in love with him again.
Is it a special black people loan?
Oh.
2 weeks later, the loan has not come through, and the word is it won't either. But Larkin and Josh have found some interim financing. And this is it.
We have credit cards. In all the books I've read, they say, do it on credit cards if you can't, so.
Opening night is 6 weeks away.
Individually, who has the experience in this kind of business, for how long, and in what kind of settings?
Okay, they're gonna laugh at me and send me out the door.
In Los Angeles, two young lovebirds are sinking their hearts and souls into this crack house.
I would say it's food for the soul.
But they're broke and financing the endeavor on their credit cards.
In all the books I've read, they say, do it on credit cards if you can't.
It's 5 weeks before opening. They've now run up close to $100,000 in debt. They're calling in favors, too. Everybody's working for free.
We're so helpful to people all the time, and it's like, now it's coming back.
Rick Rowan used to work construction before he went to chef school with Larkin.
Do you have me a cord out here with the pigtail on the end of it?
What's a pigtail?
He'll be the sous chef
What's a pigtail?
and a partner in the business.
Got multiple. You know what I'm talking about.
It's a kind of a handshake deal right now. Nothing in writing yet.
Then there's Aaron Harris, an old buddy of Rick's, who's a high-flying restaurant consultant.
You know, if this thing takes off and they decide they want to do 3 and 4 restaurants, well, then I might be able to make some money from it.
Okay, so currently, what do we have in the checking accounts to work with right now? Rick's 10?
By the way, I need to write
10.
No, we don't have 10
We have-
at the moment. We have 7,500.
7,500, and Joshua has another, what, 8?
They may be great chefs and maybe be great guys working for somebody else.
I've got probably like 10.
Well, don't doubt credit card.
Yeah, all right.
money.
I've got $10,000.
40,000.
But getting this up and running is definitely challenging.
Money that was supposed to come through doesn't come through.
I might be able to get 5,000 from a friend of mine.
Okay.
That expressed interest in.
You have to pay for that money.
And the one thing I've realized is there are all these, like, you know, urban legends about, you know, minority loans and things like that that just really don't exist.
Rick, are you totaling this up? Because I'm trying to do it in my head. And
I have a pen and
okay,
paper.
well.
So I don't know how good my math is, but
I also hear that they were looking to do some sort of fundraiser or to cut hair or something like that.
so what happened to that 10? Is that gone already?
What are you talking about?
The 10?
7,500.
I think that may raise them a couple of grand, 2,500, 3 grand.
Okay, so 7,500, 15, 10,
10 for credit
and
cards.
hopefully another 15.
15 with a question mark. Personally, I think we need another 50 to 70.
I think you need at least $75,000 to finish this.
$75,000? No, it's not happening.
Despite the money problems, it's always a party when Josh and Larkin are alone. Larkin has to get working on his menu, and Josh is his guinea pig on Larkin's jambalaya.
You might like it.
Oh my God, there is no way. There's no way you can serve that to people because
What's wrong with
it's
it?
so hot.
It's not that hot.
My cavities are burning.
It's now 4 weeks before they want to open. Today, Aaron has set up a meeting for Larkin, Josh, and Rick with a loan officer.
If they don't come up with the money to finish this, and they don't kind of have themselves stable, they've just spent $150,000 into the next tenant's building, is what's happened.
Aaron thinks that despite Josh's bankruptcy, they might be able to get a loan.
I'm like, if somebody would have told me everything I was gonna have to do, I probably wouldn't have done it. It's like, I think my ignorance drove me into it, you know? All I wanted to do was cook.
I'm Berto Bergen.
I'm Joshua. Nice to meet you.
Larkin Mackey.
Larkin, how you doing?
Rick Ron, good to meet you.
The bureaucracy of it all.
Individually, who has the experience in this kind of business, for how long, and in what kind of settings?
It's been a pain in my ass.
Are these recipes, are these family recipes?
Yeah. It's because, yeah.
This piece of financing here, is this the last piece needed to make it all work?
I've gotten to the point where I always think the worst, you know? I'm like, okay, they're gonna laugh at me and send me out the door.
Mr. Mackey and Mr. McBride, we are pleased to inform you that the Microloan Committee of the Small Business Administration Microloan Program of the Valley Economic Development Center has authorized a loan in the amount of $15,000.
But the loan is only for $15,000. And despite all the screaming and dancing, the boys know it will barely cover what they already owe.
I mean, we're paying loans with loans.
They'll allow a crack house to operate here, but when you try to do something nice and open a restaurant, you know, nobody wants to mess with the crack dealer, but they'll mess with the chef.
In Los Angeles, it's getting harder to get by on love alone for two boys who want to open their own modern-day juke joint.
I mean, we're paying loans with loans.
It's been a pain in my ass.
It's now only 2 weeks from opening. Larkin has been so busy running around looking for money that he and Rick, who's going to be the sous chef, haven't even cooked together yet. Today, they've gone back to their cooking school because they need a working kitchen.
Gentlemen, gentlemen, gentlemen.
They've asked one of their instructors to tell them if they're on the mark.
Hurry up, bro, you're burning your chips.
I guess my peace of mind probably is at stake.
Oopsie.
He's thinking, oh my God, what am I doing? Nobody's gonna come eat my food. People are gonna laugh at me. You know, it's gonna be a disaster.
To start, Larkin has concocted something called black-eyed pea caviar.
Oh, wee. What do we got?
Deep fried tortillas with black-eyed pea caviar.
Black-eyed pea.
It's kind of like a
What makes it
salsa.
caviar?
Because Larkin calls it that.
I am exhausted.
What's next, guys?
Like, probably haven't slept in 2 days.
Better get the food out faster than this.
The wait is for a marshmallow and yam ravioli next to a spicy tomato okra salad. The ravioli is topped with cream.
Chef.
Thank you.
Larkin's specialty.
Pasta's way too thick. Why are you serving the tomatoes with the pasta?
Because to add just an alternate flavor if you kind of mix it up.
But these are the things you need to think through. You know what I mean? They just don't have the experience yet.
Next comes salmon cakes with a homemade mayonnaise.
Taste it quickly.
Taste it.
Tastes like nothing.
Tastes like nothing, right? What do you think?
A little bit more kick.
It's salt.
And it gets worse. They can't control the temperature of the oil, so the fried chicken is burnt chicken.
I don't know what this consultant guy is telling him, but whatever it is, it's bullshit. These guys need to not be doing this right now. They need to get jobs. They need to work in kitchens. When you eat with this much grease, it coats your tongue. You need something to cut through that coating.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I worry for him. I do. I really worry for him. The chicken, once you burned it 3 or 4 times and then you finally got it right, they're tense, they're not talking, they're in way over their head. It's a great beginning. You know?
Yeah.
What I'm more concerned about for you guys is you're biting off a lot. You're biting off a lot.
Most chefs who've been working in the industry think we're completely crazy for doing what we're doing.
Don't open. Do not open until you are ready.
In a perfect world, they'd wait until they were more certain of their menu. But the longer it takes to open, the longer they're without money. And instead of working in the kitchen, Larkin is now spending his time chasing permits.
I got 2 permits from the Department of Engineering, 3 from Building and Safety, 2 permits from Department of Sanitation, 3 more from the Department of City Planning. and one from the Department of Transportation.
If you ask Larkin right now, if you ask him tonight, say, would you do this again? His answer is going to be a resounding hell no.
I mean, I freak out constantly about, like, what the hell am I doing?
Now they've discovered they have to build an addition for a wheelchair-accessible bathroom, and they're broke.
They'll allow a crack house to operate here, but when you try to do something nice and open a restaurant, it's like all of a sudden there's all these rules, you know? Nobody wants to mess with the crack dealer, but they'll mess with the chef.
Well, we just dropped the half of the dessert.
I'm living my dream right now.
In Los Angeles, just days before opening his new restaurant, Larkin Mackey is chasing down permits rather than working on his menu.
Don't open, do not open until you are ready.
But the boys have to press ahead. They need to start bringing money in to pay their bills.
Time, you know? It just seems like we don't have enough time.
Larkin wants to be open in 72 hours. And today, he and Josh have a plan to dig themselves out of their ditch.
So guys, what's your plan to get the money?
Joshua just went to the bank yesterday and applied for a little bit of cash. And
If you don't get the money from the bank or know something, you're sitting there kind of
getting a loan to consolidate credit cards.
And then using the credit cards again. You know, after we like pay them all off, charge them back.
Much interest, though.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's like, it is what it is, but it's got to be done, no matter how it's done. It's gotta be
We're
done.
gonna
It's
get
just-
it
I mean,
done.
that's-
2 days later, and they get a loan to consolidate their credit card debt. And from then on in, it's full steam ahead on Larkin's schedule. Opening night is now only 8 hours away. Larkin hasn't even set up his accounts with suppliers yet. For now, they're paying for everything retail, on their credit cards, of course.
I'm living my dream right now. Whether it, you know, goes badly or not, you know, or according to other people.
I think he just needed some fulfillment in his life. We're more like we were when we first met. Like, it's just magical again, you know?
Larkin and Josh had their eye on this former crack house for months before they got up the guts to claim it as theirs. They had a vision, and this is almost exactly what they saw. Inspired as much by imagination as by history, Larkins is Southern California's first modern juke joint.
Oh my God. Well, we just dropped the half of the dessert.
Well, we have half.
But other than that, I think everything's okay. So everyone can have one dessert, which is fine. That's all they need.
No, they don't have the bathrooms in yet. That'll come when they start making some money. But the kitchen is cranking out appetizer portions of contemporary soul food. Larkins made his black-eye pea caviar with fire-roasted jalapenos and cilantro.
There's a little bit of jalapeno in it, too.
Cayenne-infused chicken wings with Louisiana hot sauce.
Spicy. Oh, I think it's fabulous.
Wild Alaskan salmon cakes with garlic mayo.
These are delicious. Let me get one for Marcus. Yeah.
I think this is delicious.
Since half of them ended up on the floor, the carrot scones with cream cheese frosting are sliced in two.
Thank God they've moved into the neighborhood.
Total budget so far, $135,000. Daily interest at 29%, $103.
All of you guys who watch Lord of the Rings, this has been our quest for the ring. Joshua's getting ready to jump into the volcano with the ring. Just kidding. Don't give away the secret. That's where I learned how to
Pork and
cook
ham.
this, but-
He's never gone to culinary school. He learned from this book.
Find more at fineliving.com. Real information for real people.